Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be looking at a very famous singer known as Elvis Presley, or the King of Rock and Roll. We'll be looking at his life and how and why he changed music forever, and why people just loved him. They flocked to him and admired him for who he was. We're going to be doing this using his numerology chart as shown here, left hand side, going all the way down here. As you can see, this is a picture of him playing an instrument, as he always does. And numerology is made up of two parts. It's your date of birth and your name. Now we're going to be looking at both of these pieces of information, and we're going to be teasing out what made him who he was and really how it all came about. Now, for some of you who don't know what numerology is, and it just looks like a bunch of numbers, as you can see, it's all about energy. It's all about your blueprint, your personality, your deepest desires, how people perceive you. It's basically no different to your DNA in every cell of your body. And we're going to be looking at Elvis's DNA and uncover who he actually was. So to get started, we're going to be looking at his birth force number as shown here. Now, before I go into what the number is and what it means for him, I'm going to define what birth force actually is. Birth force number. The birth force number is your purpose. It's what you're here to do, what you should be following. And normally, when you follow this number properly, your life is going to be a lot easier than you think. It won't be totally easy. I mean, we've all got ups and downs, but it's going to be more on track, and you'll be a lot happier for it. And once you understand it and you embrace it, things will just happen and they'll come your way. It will take effort. Everything takes effort in life. Nothing is easy on the first go, but generally that's what it is. And for Elvis's case, his number was a 9, as you can see here. Now the number 9 was all about reaching out to humanity on a bigger scale. And for him, he had to do this. This was his purpose. He needed to somehow reach out to people, make an impact in the world. Number 9 is also about impact, and really, make the world a better place. And he's done this very successfully through his music. He's changed it. He's changed the genre of music in a different way, and it's opened up new avenues for other artists since his time. And this shows that he's certainly fulfilled it. And in fulfilling it, he needed to, on a deeper scale, he had to learn inner balance within himself in the world, right? As shown by number 2. So balance is about, what am I in harmony with? And you can see that in his voice, how he sings. It's very harmonious. It's very, when you listen to it, you think, it's such a beautiful voice. It's a nice voice. So that's where that number 2 is. And he factored that into that energy too, of reaching to people. Number 7, it was all about, he needed to also, number 7 shown here means he needed to learn about himself on a deeper level and really understand who he was through doing this mission, right? So not only did he have to reach out to people and connect with them harmoniously through his voice, he needed to convey meaning too, as shown here, 7 here. And as far as we know, he's done this. But the question is, how and why did he do it? How did he do it? No, we've already looked at the why, as shown by his birth force. Let's look at the how. What pushed him in this direction? Mind you, people that have purpose numbers don't always follow them. But in Elvis's case, he followed it to the best of his ability. And to look at how he did it, we look at his name, as shown here, his birth name, known as Elvis Aaron Presley. Now your name tells you about your personality and your abilities and talents and motivations and that kind of stuff. It's basically what you give to the world, what you have to offer to yourself and everybody else. And in Elvis's case, or actually before I go into him, it's also another way of saying how you carry out the mission, how you carry out your purpose, the how, if you can say. In Elvis's case, his abilities was also number 9, as shown here, and that is actually was very convenient for him. It worked out very well because not only was he supposed to reach out to people, he also knew how to do it, as shown here. And normally, when you know how to do something and you're supposed to do something, you're more than likely going to make it happen faster, right? But when if he was to have another number which was not in harmony with his life path or birth force, it would have taken him a lot more work to fulfill this here, to fulfill what he was supposed to do of reaching out to people. But in his case, he was very fortunate to, do it bang on, and there was no time wasting or anything like that. So it was fortunate for him. Now let's look at his motivation. What made him do this? So not only do you have to have the abilities, you need to have also the motivation, right? Without motivation, you're not going to be bothered to do anything. Now, and in his chart, your motivation number shown up here is what makes you excited, what gets you up in the morning to do things, what do you love, and what drives you to do it. That's, as you could say, it's your passion as well. In this case, it's called the soul urge, according to numerology. For Elvis's case, his soul urge or passion number was number 5, as shown here. Now, the number 5 is all about movement. It's about exploring, getting out in the world, feeling it, experiencing it, trying things out, trying them again, learning, trying them again, all that kind of stuff. And that number 5 does not like to stay still or stay fenced in. And for Elvis, this was very helpful because in order for you to reach out to people and create an impact, you need to actually get out there and do it. And he was fortunate to have that in his chart, in his life as well. So he was a type that loved to get up on stage. He loved his fans. He was into the energy, and nothing was stopping him. And having that drive to do it was very easy for him. And that's another factor too. Looking at, now we're going to look at his personality number. So this is how people perceive you. And for Elvis, right, his personality number is a number 4. So the number 4 is all about rebellion. It's about being different, and working towards being different. And Elvis had that. He had a lot of that in his chart. He had a lot of that in his personality. He was the rebel. He was, he didn't conform, and he just did his own thing. And people saw that. His fans saw that. And that was another reason why they loved him, because he just had that rebellion about him too. Now looking at his other name, known as Elvis Presley. So normally in numerology you've got your birth name, you've got your called name. So Elvis Presley is his called name, and when we look at his called name, it's also number 5. So not only was he able to reach out to people here, he was also able to explore the world and be motivated by it, by up here. So he had a lot going on for him. Scrolling down, we're going to be looking at his hidden passion and others and planes of expression and all that. Let's start with the intensity table. So this table tells you attributes and hidden passions that Elvis had, even that you have. So the numbers that are most dominant, they're what you are talented in. So for Elvis, he had quite a few 1s and quite a few 5s. So he was very good at being doing his own thing and being the pioneer, being innovative, as shown by the one here, as well as also making it happen and following through with it, as shown by number 5 here. So, and this together reinforces what we just spoke about up here. So it's another good thing. Also, looking at his, I forgot to mention his day of birth. He was number 8, and number 8s are very determined, and they're visionary as well. So if you've got a number 8 in your birthday or anywhere in your chart, you're very good at visualizing a goal or something and making it happen. And Elvis was very good at that because he was a hard worker. So looking down further, we're going to be looking at his plans of expression. So your plans of expression, it's how you think, it's your temperament. And for Elvis, he was a very he was a surface sort of guy, so he was very good at the dance moves, the singing, and all that. And that comes from his physical here. So your physical tells you about how well you adapt to the world. And this is where his vocal cords. This is why his vocal cords were very in tune, because he had this ability here. He had this strength. And each of these stars here represent values. Represent a value. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had about 5 physical values, right? And you actually need that in order to vocalize and really be in tune with the rhythm of the notes and all that kind of stuff. He was fortunate to have that. Also, he was quite intuitive. So not only was he the rebellion, the guy that knew how to influence people, he was also very intuitive and you could say spiritual. So whatever songs and whatever things he created, it came from a higher place. He was able to connect to that. And this is what I think drove his success on a bigger scale, connecting to his intuition and bringing down his ideas and making them work. And normally, if your intuition is quite low, it's hard to, you become more logical, and it's harder to sort of be different and be unique. So that's what made Elvis unique and different, and he had that going for him. Looking at his pinnacles. So your pinnacles, these are the phases in your life. All right. So from the ages of 0, from when he was born to up until 30, he had he had the perfect opportunity to really get into music and make it something big, as shown by the number 9 here. Right. And as you can see, the 9's here, 999 matched with this pinnacle here. So you could say that from the ages of up until the age of 30, it was the perfect time to really master that voice and influence in his life and on the world. And I think he should be grateful that his parents and everyone else supported him. Otherwise, it would have been a lot harder to get into. Looking at his challenges, so challenges, these are what you need to overcome, what's slowing you down, and we've all got them in our numbers. Even Elvis had challenges too, as we all know. And his challenge was a number 7. So number 7 means that he needed to understand himself more. He needed to really think within, think deep down and look within to, have that idea of who he actually was. And he did that to some extent. But the other challenge that I think he never was able to get over was the number 8 here. And the number 8 is all about balance. Now, as you find, up until his death, he did have, I think he did have weight issues, and he wasn't able to, keep himself in line with life. he had depression. So I think that has a lot to do with it here. Perhaps he was maybe too much in his own world, and he wasn't really looking at things from perspective, and he got off a tangent, and that led him down the wrong path of drugs and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so that's Elvis Presley, and explains why who he was. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment below. Please subscribe to my channel. There'll be plenty more people I'll be doing. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you later.